I actually had a left hand. I just didn't use it much. I'm serious.
You scored once in a big game left-handed.
I could shoot,
and actually got the call wrong. I said, "Oh, this Carcaterra, he likes to use his left or something." I said something
it was really, really bad.
Something moronic.
That's a guy. That was Quint 1995, pre actually watching tape.
There was no tape, Paul.
Hey, Anish, I've got to ask you something. Like, after we did the Wednesday St. Patrick's Day game with Notre Dame and Marquette. By the way, Anish, Quint always has to do the St. Patrick's Day moving forward, just so he could wear that green jacket. And that's more him than me, to be honest. Like, he needs to call that game every year, and he also needs to call that game to come clean and really just like start being nice to the bagpiper. Why are you so mean to the bagpiper?
Hey, did you see what he wrote?
You obviously
didn't
read my article. I said that Tommy McNamara.
I didn't read your article.
Tommy McNamara.
I read your article.
You had to read it. Tommy McNamara, I said, maybe the finest bagpiper in Notre Dame history. Okay, this is a kid who saved a woman's pocket, her purse. That's a different story for a different day. 10 months he learned how to play. And I'm watching this highlight of him walking out of the Eamon McEnany locker room there at Arlotta.
Wow, and what a plug. You just plugged Eamon so hard.
Look, was he not good? Was he not awesome?
You know what's great about that plug? Every other lacrosse, here's the deal. Every other lacrosse entity that's looking for money is now going to be all over him. The Eamon McEnany locker room.
Hey, was McNamara not on fire or what?
He was tremendous.
I mean,
like you don't have to sell us on it. You're the guy that needs to be sold.
Hey, look, if I want to be critical, I also have to hand out some hugs and some smiles because I got the chills. McNamara, he looks like an Irish actor from the 1940s in like a boxing movie.
Yeah.
The kid from Philly, graduate student from Philly.
Yeah. So you're all in on McNamara.
The best I've seen in recent history. It's a great sign for Notre Dame.
Way to go, Tom.
What about Notre Dame, Kark? We did the game against Marquette. First half awfully impressive. Second half they kind of called off the dogs and knew they could win the game, and then they were impressive over the weekend against Cleveland State. Is this a team that you feel can challenge for an ACC title?
Yes, and I said that to you in February before they played a game, and you called me like nutty. Yes, they have, I think, the kryptonite for the rest of the ACC. I mean, their close defense is clearly, I think, the best in the ACC, and their rope unit, when you think of guys like Jose Boyer and Hollenbach, those guys are legit defensive midfielders. Hollenbach with the shorty, Boyer with the long pole, and they've got some depth there as well. And I also think they have like these two-way midfielders that are really, really good, and they're deep there. They're not like one midfield deep, and then Quint, and you could elaborate on this, the two-headed monster at the face-off X they have.
Yeah, no, this is a team that's strong up the middle. Goaltending, defense, face-offs. Got enough parts on offense. With the shot clock, they're not going to be able to hide. But they have a defense in a league that really seems to be offensive oriented. This is going to be really fascinating. I'm very eager to see Duke, how they look in the league, coming off their non-conference schedule. Notre Dame, how they look in the league.
Yeah, and here's the other thing about Notre Dame. Anish and I were blown away with Liam Entenmann because Marquette actually had some really good looks. And he's a physical presence. He takes up a ton of the cage. He's got a good outlet. And you said up the middle. And when you think of up the middle is goaltending, it's face-off, and it's attack play. And the final piece of being up the middle, to me, is Pat Cavanaugh. He's taken another step in terms of ownership of the offense. He's feeding the ball terrific right now.
They have fail-safes. And what I mean by that is you look at the three close defensemen, they were the marquee going into the season. No one's got Thornton, no one's got Keelty, no one's got Cohen, right? Well, what does that defense do over the years? It forces you to take bad shots. Well, now they have a goalie who's going to make every routine save, and he's going to steal some. Kark, we saw a goalie who can get rid of the ball quickly, gets into a rope unit where guys can punt, return, clear, and get early offense in transition. If you don't score, what has Notre Dame always had over the years? They've been tremendous on the ride. So they can still ride. They clear really well. And then to score against them is going to be a challenge. And at the end of the day, if you do A, B, and C right, as you said, they have Entenmann waiting. So offensively, yeah, they're top 6. It doesn't measure up to Cuse, Virginia, North Carolina, and Duke. All the other pieces, you could argue they may have an edge.
Yeah.
Last question. Yeah. Last question about this game. Are they ready to beat Virginia right now?
I
Have
think
they-
so.
Probably.
Are they
I think
ready? You
so.
know, because Virginia's played a tough schedule and they haven't. That's my
Yeah.
only
This
question.
is judgment. This is judgment day for Notre Dame for sure.
Oh,
Wow. Look how little that thing is.
This is the real yard sale. It's a famous one. Say hi. Say hi.
Well, the star of the show is here. We have Yeti. Q's got his dog.
Millie, 4 months.
My 13-and-a-half-year-old German Shepherd, unfortunately, can't make it up the stairs, but she's here.
Kark, so that dog will dig.
Will dig. It will shed. It will poop. It
She
will
pooped
do
on the
everything that requires work and headaches. But in the end, she'll be worth it, right? Right, Anish? Tell me, like, Anish, how old is Lola?
13-and-a-half.
Okay. Describe quickly the joy she's brought to your life.
Yeah, listen, she's a great family dog. If you're a stranger, you guys have met her. Different story, very protective. It's kind of sad these days to see how much she slowed down. Her back legs are in bad shape, and she doesn't have the energy, her eyesight, her hearing, all that stuff's not there. But she still has her moments, still has more good days than bad days. But, yeah, they're part of the family. I mean, it's probably one of the coolest experiences of my life to have been a dog owner. I'm glad you guys are experiencing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
I had my boy Max years ago, and then Terry had a 16-year-old. Kark, you teach Yeti how to fetch.
Of course.
And Payla is going to be a superstar. The amount of shots she misses the goal, Yeti, boom. If that could be an N-line dog, like I've always dreamed of breeding N-line dogs and then giving them to college programs
Hey, come here real quick.
to live outside at practices. These dogs that fetch into the woods and save lacrosse balls.
Hey, Quint, I got a question for you. You were around long enough to call my games. If you were to tell Payla one way she should play the game better than me, what would you tell her? What do you mean?
Left hand.
Oh, left hand or passing? One of the two.
Bye.
Hey, you guys see the new Handsome Dan?
Oh, new Handsome Dan's unbelievable.
How did
Beautiful
you see
face.
the new Handsome Dan? Where would he come about now? There's no play going on.
New Handsome Dan on Instagram. Yale's new bulldog.
Wow.
Little booger, kind of white and brownish. Seems to have good spirit.
Best dogs in college sports. To me, and I've said this many times, Handsome Dan, that's where the list starts.
Yes.
Ugga. I've dealt with the Washington Husky. Nice dog, smart dog, big husky, Kark.
Really?
You'd
What
like him.
color?
Silverish. The white silver.
Yeah. Yeti's got some silver to her.
What about the Butler Bulldog?
Never met the Butler Bulldog.
What about the Great Dane? But he's really only a cartoon. Does he count?
Scooby-Doo? No.
No.
Well,
You know who's
got a
underrated
greyhound?
heavily at Texas A&M? I think it's a Sheltie.
Yeah, I've met that dog. He's seems like a hunting fetch dog.
And then the one at Tennessee, Smokey.
Smokey, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Remember
with the
this
ears.
video with Grayson?
Smokey's a good dog. Smokey's a cool dog.
Do you remember this video with Grayson when he got knocked out by Handsome Dan?
That Handsome Dan is retired.
Here it is again.
That Handsome Dan.
The KO is great. Watch the KO.
Boom!
No, we're here. Boom.
Oh. Remember him chasing the bucket?
Yes.
That was one of
Psycho.
my favorite moments.
Psycho.
If you haven't seen the video, it's circulated all over. At the end of Yale's practice, they would let Handsome Dan run with a bucket of lacrosse balls. And you're wondering, is he going to go play with the balls? What's he going to do? He runs about 20, 25 yards, and he just drops the bucket, and he spills all the balls over the field. And then he just takes off with the bucket. All that dog wanted was the bucket. Big slate of game this weekend. We've had some appetizers the last few weeks now. We get some main courses. Kark, you and I on the call for Syracuse and Duke at Koskinen. Preseason number 1 against The ACC favorite, which happens to be Syracuse. This feels like a championship weekend preview, doesn't it?
Time to get your belly full. Yes, 100%. This game, I don't know. It has everything. But I think the headline for it, with all the superstars, with Syracuse's midfield and the attack play of Duke led by Michael Sowers, I'm just really anxious to see the two freshmen in this game. Brennan O'Neill from Duke, who honestly, Quint, we talk about him all the time. It's just frightening in terms of the skill set. He looks like a superhero, a cartoon character, like you said. I don't know. It's just he's got everything. And then there's Owen Hiltz from Syracuse, who honestly, you could argue right now he's their most valuable player and the biggest game changer on a team. That was preseason one in some polls and the favorite in this conference. And he's done exactly what this team has needed him to do. He gives you that outside shooting presence. He's a tremendous through passer. And his finishing inside is incredible too. When they put him in the game full time against Virginia, the offensive identity just completely shifted and became balanced. So I'm just so pumped to watch the two freshmen on a monster stage. And there's a lot of other guys in this game too, to me, that just pop in regards to outlier type talent. You got those two, and you got Nakai Montgomery is playing as well as any midfielder in the country, and then the Q Smitty. So I am super pumped to do this one.
Virginia, Notre Dame, big game Saturday. Notre Dame finally gets tested. Virginia has not played well. They got blown out by Syracuse earlier against North Carolina. Got down big, even though they dominated the stat sheet. Just seemed disjointed, and then didn't look great in a win against Robert Morris, didn't look great in a win against High Point. To me, this is kind of a big test for Virginia. You lose your 0-3 in conference. And Quint, you wrote about it. We've seen it. A lot of hero ball. They're at their best when they play through Matt Moore and they play through Schellenberger. We're seeing more get back to becoming more of a passer. A good sign in the Robert Morris game was Dox Aiken seemed to wake up. 3 goals in that game. He had gone without a goal 4 times this season, which is just unconscionable when you think he's one of the best midfielders in the country. So to get him right, that's going to be big. I'm still bullish long-term on Virginia, but Notre Dame, even though they haven't been tested, playing incredibly well. Kavanaugh's been a phenomenal distributor. They've got, I think, 7 or 8 goals from their short stick D middies this season. And what does Virginia try to do? Virginia tries to create chaos and turn you over. Virginia's second nationally in clearing. I think Navy's first, but Navy's only played 2 games. Notre Dame's clearing it better than 90%. If Liam Entenmann makes saves, gets rid of the ball quickly, and they break that press, they break that ride, Virginia could be in for a long day. And for me, this game, it's not a rivalry per se, but what I love about it, it's one of my favorite matchups because of the clash of styles. Notre Dame is always so organized, and there's this mechanical determination, and it's the system that elevates everybody. And Virginia's the ultimate improv. It's an ad lib. They like to create chaos. They like anarchy. Notre Dame is about order. 2 coaches who operate very differently, but are both very successful. The clash of styles to me is the great selling point in this game, but it's Notre Dame's first test. And can Virginia get back to being Virginia?
Great, robust slate of games this week. Tuesdays for the Hunter, Albany, UMass. Friday in the SoCon, High Point against Richmond, round 1. One of those 2 teams is probably going to represent that league. And then Sunday, Rutgers and Maryland, round 2. Okay. In this COVID year, you're going to face teams 2, 3, maybe more down the road, even in the NCAA tournament. So rematches are going to be part of the fabric of this year. Okay. Rutgers couldn't defend. Rutgers could not defend Jared Bernhardt. They had no answers, especially in the 4th quarter. They've got to find an answer for Bernhardt, who that day looked like the best player in the country. If the Tuarton was handed out that evening, Bernhardt, number 1 for Maryland's walking away with it. Face-offs for Rutgers, that's been an issue. That's not getting better. It was okay beginning of the year, and they've shown some weaknesses against Hopkins and Maryland. They got to face off. They have to defend. I think if you're the Terps, gosh, I'm just so impressed with their consistency of effort, their consistency. Like week to week, this team just doesn't budge right now emotionally. I'm expecting some ups and downs. They've spurted away from everyone they've played. They've played better lacrosse in the second half. I think they've shown uncommon maturity. Wisnauskas, Bernhardt, starting to see more guys, Griffin Brown and second tier players scoring. So that's a good one on Sunday. Again, I think it's round 2 of what could be ultimately even a 4-round fight.
Boys,
Here he
Yo.
is, Mr. Ramirez.
how we doing?
How nervous is Scotty Marr right now about you being on this show?
He's petrified. Petrified.
So, fellas, every year when the season starts, one of the great go-tos is the Albany roster headshot page, because these guys know no limits. There are no checks and balances. It is total chaos, and it is one of the most entertaining things that we have year in, year out in the sport of college lacrosse. And one of the most entertaining headshots year in, year out is Stephen Ramirez, and he joins us. Stephen, you've gone corporate this year. We'll get into that now, but I want to go back to your I want to go back to that freshman year headshot. You know, I was showing my wife, and this was her word. She goes, "He's actually kind of handsome." What the hell was he thinking? What's the story behind that freshman year headshot?
I mean, well, the freshman year headshot. So freshman year, we're Albany, so we love our headshots. We love going all out on that stuff. So I was thinking my freshman year, I didn't do great. So my sophomore year, the Friar Tuck is the one we're talking about. And so I was like, you know what? I need to do something different. I need to do something just like no one's ever done. Just do something crazy, might as well. So I'm on the internet, like looking up everybody in my suite, my roommate, Will Ramos, Austin Jones, my co-star, we're all looking up pictures, the weirdest haircuts we could find. And then, what is it? The Three Stooges pops up. And I was like, I saw the Friar Tuck and I was like, that is it.
So they all have nicknames.
You go into the barbershop. You go into the barbershop and you say, "This." You point to that picture.
I didn't even go to a barber shop. I had my roommate, Austin Jones, cut my hair. We put a bowl on the top of my head, one of my soup bowls, just outlined my head and then just eyed it out. And he did a beautiful job.
Did
So
you
do you
wash
guys have
it? Did you wash the bowl?
Oh yeah,
before
we always
eating?
wash the bowls.
Okay.
You got any looks that didn't cut it, like that you experimented with, thought were going to be a good idea, and then you scrapped?
No. There was one I wanted to do. I actually did it freshman year for Final Four freshman year. I gave myself, actually, it might have even been for the Denver game when we played at Hofstra. I had a reverse mohawk, so I cut right down the middle, shaved right down here in the sides, and I just left 2 streaks of hair going straight back. I know there's a picture. I have a picture of it somewhere. I'll send it to you guys, but that was probably even crazier than the Friar Tuck, and I had it at the Final Four.
Stephen, if you were to give Coach Marr a crazy haircut, what would it be?
Oh boy. I mean, I'm letting his hair go. I'm gonna see what kind of crazy things it does when it's long, and then we're just gonna let the magic work.
I think you would do like I don't know, almost like a crew cut or a bald cut into that mullet, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. It had to be a mullet. Scott
You'd
Moore
have to
rocks
keep the
mullet
flow.
better than anybody in college lacrosse. Yeah.
What did he tell you? What did he actually tell you to follow up with Anish? What did Coach Marr say to you before you came on today? Give it to us.
Give it to you? So I called him as soon as Anish messaged me, and he calls. I texted him. He calls me. He goes, "Just don't be cringy. Be you. Be funny. Just don't be cringy. Don't do anything too much." So I'm just here doing me.
What's Coach Marr's reaction when he sees you guys come in from the headshots?
He honestly does love them. He loves them a lot. He thinks they're great because it's Albany Lacrosse. It's what we stand for. We're a very laid back team. He does get upset with some like the crazier ones, but like he loves them still. He still loves them.
Could I fit in here with Albany now? I mean,
Oh yeah, I would love to give you a haircut, Anish. I would love to give you a nice haircut.
I
Nice haircut. How would you do it?
Oh, his? I would give him cornrows immediately. Cornrows.
cornrows. Wow.
Yeah, cornrows. Maybe even shave the sides. Make it
You're
look
the
dangerous.
last guy I'd want cutting my hair, and I mean that with all due respect. Stephen Ramirez, Albany Lacrosse, always a trip. Stephen, thank you, and I think you escaped without further damage.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This was awesome.
See you, bud.
Thank you.
You're the
Steven.
man. Thanks,
Thank
buddy.
you. Peace out.
Something of the week. Q, what's your something?
Well, I got two somethings. Number one, on Friday at NCAA Wrestling, I got to interview AJ Ferrari, 197-pound freshman from Oklahoma State. Passion. You don't achieve greatness in any sport without passion, and he brought it. I mean, this is a guy who's walked the walk. He talks the talk. He posts his whole life on social media, but I was blown away by his passion. And then Saturday night to interview Spencer Lee, who tore his ACL 8 days before the NCAA championships and then won the title. I mean, I walk away from that event just brimming with all the positives of competitive sports.
Kark, what's your something of the week?
Mine's honestly something that I never wanted to go through in my life. You know, this has been a really, really hard week for me. I mean, I don't know, man. The emotions, I just can't wrap my hands around it. You know, I lost my best friend in Rob Kavovitz, someone who I met when I was a little kid and shared a lacrosse field with him. The first time I ever played the sport to the last time we ever played the sport. And yeah, it's been a really, really hard time. I cannot begin to thank all of you, the people I work with. I just felt like I had a commitment to the people I work with. I had a commitment to the people that knew Rob, his family, his friends, his teammates, but most importantly, him. Like, he wasn't the type of player that ever wanted the spotlight, and he was uncomfortable, to be honest, when people really gave him that spotlight, and if it was shining too bright. And I always bragged about him, and as tough as it was this week, I just felt like I was the one person that had to tell his story, and I'm happy I did it. It was the first step in healing, but it's only the first step, because, you know, he went way too quickly, and I'm going to be telling his story for a while, and as it unfolds, it will be educational, it will be eye-opening, and hopefully it could just influence some people down the road who are struggling.
My something of the week, Kark, is a someone, and it's you. And you know, I know on this show we're gonna laugh and we're gonna crack jokes and we'll have fun, but you know, it's also real, and we take people behind the curtains. And I think you've downplayed how hard that game was for you on Saturday and how well you did, given everything. And the words that you said were beautiful, and you touched me. And, you know, we were not on camera that day, but we had a laptop in front of us and a Zoom monitor. And, you know, there were times like I'd look over and I'd see you wiping away tears. And I remember we talked about it. Hey, do you want to do this game? Do you want to talk about Rob? Because it's not easy, and not everyone could have done it. And I say this like as a colleague, a friend, and you know, the three of us share a brotherhood, having done this for so long. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to know you, because for you to do that for your best friend, man, that says what kind of friend and person that you are. And I've never been prouder to be your friend.
No, thank you very much. And this show is supposed to be funny all the time, and, you know, just bring your laughs. And I don't know, life throws you some curveballs, and you just walk away. Just always tell people how you feel. Always let your emotions out. And it's hard, man. It's really hard, because we all try to live to a certain standard, and we want people to look at us, and you know, you try to be perfect, but no one is. And at the end of the day, you have to tell people how you feel.